Before I introduce the next speaker, if any of you are curious about how Inspire Me, my coaching practice came about, it was due to the fact that I gave birth to my first daughter, Maria. I remember thinking, how on earth can I stay at full-time work? At the time, I was working for Casa Foundation, and I was committed to nursing her for 2 years. And I realized, how can I do this with a small baby? And maternity leave of 35 days was quite stressful. I'm sure many of you in this room have actually done that. And hats off to every single one of you who continue to raise children and have a career at the same time. Inspire Me was born out of fear of not being able to spend time, quality time with my infant. And I took the leap, or rather I dove in the deep end because I said, I cannot work full-time and open a company. I just can't do it. Everyone else was saying, that's what people do. You need money, so you need to fuel it. In my case, I said it needs to be one or the other. I need to concentrate on what it is that I'm passionate about the most right now. And that's different for every single one of us. And none of it matters. None of it matters if someone prefers career, if someone prefers to focus on raising children. It's a personal choice, and it's your own truth. And that happens to be my truth for now. I've always wondered, who was responsible for the graffiti on the Doha fire station wall? My curiosity has been satisfied, and I'm proud to meet such a creative woman for the first time today. Assil Diab is a visual artist, graphic designer, and graffiti artist. She's the first graffiti artist emerging from Qatar and Sudan, and she's the first female to paint a mural on the Doha fire station walls, marking the 100th day of the blockade on Qatar. I'm excited to hear what makes her tick. Please welcome Assil to the stage.
Everybody who's somebody never followed anybody. Let that sink in for a moment. Everybody who's somebody never followed anybody. Hello everyone, my name is Assil Diab, and I vandalize public property for a living. Culture and tradition dictates a lot for society, but especially in this part of the world. And for most of my life, I fit in. After finishing secondary school, I traveled to the United States to pursue my studies. I earned a degree from Virginia Commonwealth University in graphic design. And after returning to Qatar, I began my career at Al Jazeera working as a creative designer, and later on earned a position at Qatar Red Crescent as the branding and promotions coordinator. But somehow sitting in these offices all day in front of these screens wasn't doing it for me. I know I should have been happy. Working at these organizations considered very prestigious and makes for quite the resume. But somehow I was restless. My creative process wasn't flowing, and I knew something was missing. I knew and always felt that I can be unique and an imperfect individual, and that my creative voice is valued and is needed in this world. And to the delight of my darling parents, I resigned from a lucrative position and got an internship with Ashghal and Qatar Museums. It's my dad, by the way. I don't know about all of you, but I'm never more creative than when I'm broke. And this internship was no exception. I had no clue how I was going to make a living, but I knew it did not include an office chair. I wanted to fit in with the crowd. I always wanted to fit in with the crowd that looked and sounded exactly like the person I thought I should be. It took a lot of time, introspection, and formative experiences for me to realize that I can build something on my own. As my free-spirited and wild self, if I was willing to be brave enough to do things my way, own the things I cared about, and not apologize for any of it. In fact, when you are boldly yourself, that's when people start to respect you. And then my break came. The famed calligraphy artist El Cid was commissioned to paint the Silver Road tunnels and needed an assistant. I knew nothing about graffiti back then, but I knew as soon as I held those spray cans and started spray painting, I had stumbled onto something. Soon I was spray painting whenever and wherever I could for free, and to the chagrin of many people. Who is this weirdo defacing these walls, and what does she think she's doing? It wasn't always pretty, and it wasn't always easy. To this day, graffiti struggles to be accepted as a legitimate art form by some, let alone at the hands of some people. But the work speaks for itself. And some say graffiti is vandalism, but that's only if it's used inappropriately. I've never painted a wall without seeking permission from the property owner, and sometimes I even show them a sketch before I execute. You know, graffiti is unlike many art forms. It's the only art form that you can actually witness the process done from start to finish. And in a pedestrian culture like my origin country, Sudan, this is in the fire station, like Sudan, everyone stops and stares. Some are in awe of the artwork, and some are in awe of a female painting in the streets. They think I'm nuts. Nevertheless, graffiti is a global language. It speaks to people from all walks of life. And if it's utilized properly, it can help beautify shabby areas and even increase tourism in a country like the Sudan. And as long as I'm able, I aim to make Sudan a pioneer for street art, started by a woman. Can we play the video? So these 3 videos are in Sudan while I'm painting. Is there a sound? So in the first video, I'm painting Mohammed al-Faytouri. He's a poet, Sudanese poet, and these people are living in this area that I'm painting in. The girl actually went to her house, got me some juice. And, as you can see, all the kids are gathered, playing around with the spray paint. And here she's actually reciting Quranic verses to protect me from the evil eye, basically. And on the third video, he's reciting the poet from Mohammed al-Faytouri. Basically, graffiti engages people together and introduces you to people, introduces people to me, and it builds communities because you never just walk to any neighborhood and start talking to people. You know, unless you're doing something, people walk up to you, and most of the females that actually walk up to me are niqabi or hijabi, basically, and they express to me their own problems and their own fears. They wouldn't otherwise come and tell me their stories if it wasn't me standing there doing it in front of them. Most of them wanted to be pilots or, you know, just any position that's out of the norm for society. And it's in these experiences that I learn about these people, and I learn about what people struggle with. And it's just a beautiful thing. I think graffiti is not just about the artwork, it's about the community. It brings people together. And I just love doing it. Thank you.